Hey everybody, I'm Jack Hammer. Just wanted to come in here real quick and break down the good, the bad, and the ugly from the 49ers 17-10 loss today to the Arizona Cardinals. As I mentioned already, the 49ers received a really stellar effort from their defense, only to see the offense put up a completely inept performance, resulting in a 17-10 loss, and the 49ers falling to 2-3 on the season and going into the bye on a 3-game losing streak. Despite outgaining Arizona, the 49ers would be held to only 10 points, their lowest total since being held by Washington to only 9 in a game played in a downpour in October of 2019. If you take that out and you just look at the games that were played under normal conditions, this is the first time the 49ers have been held to under 10 points, or to the fewest points that they've scored, dating back to 2018. As has been the case throughout the start of the season, the 49ers offense would move the ball, up and down. They would have, but they'd fall short in critical situations. We've seen the 49ers offense. We saw it last week with the 49ers moving the ball up and down the field on Seattle, not able to put points on the board, come up short. We've seen them do that against Green Bay in the first half a couple of weeks ago, as well as during most of the first half against Philadelphia, and we saw that again today. San Francisco actually outgained Arizona this game, but going 1 for 5 on fourth down to miss points or end drives would just ultimately proved to be the difference in this ball game. So let's take a look at some of the things that stood out to me from this loss. First off, let's take a look at Trey Lance. I thought there was some good and some bad with Lance. He's making his first NFL start. He was clearly the focal point of the 49ers offense going into the game. The 49ers ran 59 offensive plays today. Lance had the ball in his hands for 47 of them. 31 pass, 16 run. Of those 31 pass plays, he would go 15 of 29 for 192 yards. There would also be 2 sacks, so there's your 31. And as far as the 16 runs, he'd carry the ball 16 times for 89 yards. Not too bad. After opening the game with a 14-yard scramble on the first play and then a 16-yard completion to Kyle Juszczyk on the next one, Lance would make his first big mistake just 2 plays later. On a 2nd and 9 from the Arizona 44, Lance would step up through the pocket, looked like he could run, but he had a clear pass to Travis Benjamin that he would sail high, and it would get intercepted by Cardinals safety Budda Baker. And as his numbers suggest, the performance from Lance was up and down, kind of what you'd expect from a rookie. The play overall was okay. The offensive penalties, there were some questionable play calls from Kyle Shanahan, and all in all, just didn't work out for the 49ers offense at all today. And as far as Trey Lance goes, he was okay. For a rookie, like I said, he completed about 51% of his passes. Of the 31 times he dropped back to pass, positive things happened 15 of the 31 times, because you got to take into account the incompletions, 2 sacks, and the interception. As far as the 49ers defense, and we'll get back to the offense here in a minute, but as far as the 49ers defense, they were stellar throughout. The issue for San Francisco today wasn't the defense at all. Coming into this game, Arizona had averaged 35 points a game, 6.6 yards per play. And despite struggling early on, the 49ers defense would hold Arizona to only 17 points and 5 yards per play. A terrific effort. And the defense struggled with the pace of Arizona on the first possession. They allowed a quick 66-yard 8-play drive to take a quick 7-0 lead. But then they really settled down, played pretty good after that. They did allow another field goal in the first half, and they did a really good job, for the most part, of containing Kyler Murray and holding up in the secondary. Murray would be able to... he'd be held in check for most of the game. But, he's Kyler Murray. He's still going to be making some plays, and he was able to show off his playmaking ability on a couple of occasions. One play in particular was in the second quarter. This one showed where the 49ers really had they basically had perfect defense on him. They did a really good job of keeping him from running, keeping him kind of in the pocket. He was sliding to his left, but they had him penned in where he wasn't going to be able to run. So he throws a ball down the left sideline to Rondale Moore for a 33-yard gain. You can't defend that play any better. That ball was almost out of bounds as he's catching it. Moore's able to get both of his feet in bounds. Just a tremendous play by the rookie on the sidelines. That play would then help extend the drive, and Arizona would eventually kick a field goal to go up 10-0. But let's go back to the 49ers offense again, because that's really what this game's all about. And going into this game, one of the main things that people pointed to, I did myself, was the uh, Arizona Cardinals run defense not being all that terrific. They came into this game, Arizona did, giving up an average of 5.4 yards per attempt. The 49ers would hit that number today, finishing with 5.4 yards of their own. They'd run the ball 28 times. As I mentioned earlier, 16 of those would come from Lance. Some of those were scrambles, some of those were designed runs. So Lance carried the ball 16 times for 89 yards. Elijah Mitchell, Trey Sermon, Deebo Samuel, and Kyle Juszczyk, those four, they'd combine to get only 12 carries on the day, gaining 63 yards. If you take out Juszczyk and you just look at what Mitchell, Sermon, and Samuel are able to do, those three averaged over 5.7 yards per attempt today. They should have been given the ball more. For whatever reason, Kyle Shanahan felt the need to, especially early on, turn Trey Lance into a running back a number of times with designed quarterback runs, and they really struggled to get the run game going other than scrambles until in the second quarter when they were finally kind of able to get on track a little bit there. And one of the things with this is while the overall numbers look good, there was a number of failed short yardage attempts that would really just do the 49ers in on Sunday. So they had big numbers. That all looks good. But when you really get down to the nitty gritty, the 49ers just couldn't make the plays. Let's take, for example, let's look at three of them. 49ers second possession of the game. They're down 7-0, and they drive the ball into Arizona territory, and they end up with 4th and 2 at the Cardinals' 34-yard line. Instead of kicking a field goal, that's a long field goal. You can't say it's a guaranteed at 51 yards. Kyle Shanahan decides to go for it. Okay. The play call is a designed quarterback power. It's actually the play that they were trying to run there on 4th and 2 is the play that the 49ers ran on Sunday of last week against the Seattle Seahawks when Trey Lance ran the ball in for the 2-point conversion. It's that same play with Laken Tomlinson pulling from the left side, coming around, and he's going to try to lead Lance up into the hole. Unfortunately, what happens, though, is that Cardinals defensive tackle J.J. Watt blows through the defense, creates penetration. That catches Laken Tomlinson, which slows him down just enough so that he's not able to get upfield. What that does is leaves Lance on his own, and he ends up getting stopped a yard short. Design quarterback run, gain of 1. There you have it. On those design quarterback runs, it's just like a run with anybody else. You need your offensive line to be able to create the gaps and the holes. And it's not going to happen at times. It didn't happen there. Lance is much better as a scrambler than he is on designed runs for the most part, and we saw that throughout this game. On the next 49ers possession, so they get stopped short. That's their second. Now we're on to their third possession of the game. They drive down the field, and they get down there to the goal line, and they're facing 4th and goal at the Cardinals 1. And once again, they go for it. As the game plays out, you would have needed a touchdown there anyway instead of the field goals. But let's look at what happens here. Lance fakes the ball to Elijah Mitchell, rolls out to the right. Mitchell rolls into the flat. He's looking to throw. There's nothing there. So as Lance is rolling to his right, he decides that he's going to take the ball by himself. He starts sprinting to the right corner of the end zone. Instead of running to the pylon, he plants his foot and tries to cut up inside. And he's met by Arizona linebackers Isaiah Simmons and Tanner Vallejo, who stone him at the line of scrimmage, just absolutely drill him and drop him a yard short of the goal line. Again, wiping points off the board, another short yardage situation for the 49ers offense, and although they gained 5.4 yards rushing, they're able to gain nothing on 4th and goal from the 1, even with Trey Lance running the ball. And then in the fourth quarter, the 49ers offense would see another 4th and short play get stuffed by the Arizona defense. This time, Kyle Shanahan tries to get real tricky and pulls out a play that worked for the 49ers in a similar situation 2 weeks ago against Green Bay. You might recall in that game, in that Packer game, Kyle Shanahan having Trey Lance line up in the shotgun formation. Kyle Juszczyk comes in motion, takes the snap from under center and runs basically a quarterback sneak. Tried that play again against Arizona. Arizona obviously had seen this. It was only 2 weeks ago. I think pretty much everybody, once Kyle Juszczyk goes in motion, is alerted to that play by now. The Arizona defense sniffs it out and shuts it down for no gain and another failed short yardage attempt. In all, the 49ers come out of this game, loser 17-10, just too many mistakes, too many odd play calls and coaching decisions with going for it. If you're going to go for it in those situations, it's those are tough situations for any quarterback or coach, and it just didn't work out. Overall, the 49ers came into this game averaging 5.8 yards per play. They averaged 5.7 today. So even with a rookie quarterback, they were right around that same number as they've been all year long with Jimmy Garoppolo. And what happened is the 49ers run offense played better. The 49ers haven't been running the ball all that well, but they were able to run the ball for average 5.4 yards, like I mentioned earlier, 5.4 yards per attempt, a nice increase in the running game. The problem for the 49ers today is the pass game took a step back. Jimmy Garoppolo has averaged 7.8 yards per pass attempt in the season. Today, Trey Lance averaged 6.6. It's not all on Lance. There are a couple of throws that were dropped. There were some issues along the way of those kind of things. All quarterbacks deal with drops. All quarterbacks deal with stuff like that. We saw Jimmy Garoppolo deal with drops with a drop from Deebo Samuel early on in the Philadelphia game. There's other plays throughout the season that happens with. So I think when you watch this game with Trey Lance, I think you see, like I said earlier, you see a rookie make some plays, and you see a rookie who misses some plays. The interception, before the game, I tweeted out that the 49ers would be in contention to win this game if they could eliminate the turnovers. Actually, what I said was the 49ers would win the game if they don't turn the ball over. That lasted one series as Lance would throw the ball high, and it would get picked off by Budda Baker, like I talked about. Again, that's a play that I've seen a number of people debate. Here's my take on that. Lance does a really good job in the pocket, steps up, gets there, and yes, he can run, but when you have a receiver that's open, like he did there, you need to hit him. And he just throws it over his head. That isn't out of the ordinary for Trey Lance. Trey Lance is known, I believe, people that have followed Trey Lance during his time at North Dakota State and really scouted him there, and people that have watched Trey Lance, especially folks that were able to be at training camp, which I know there was a number of folks that were able to because of those practices being open. Myself being there with my writing duties and so on, we're able to see Trey Lance and his inaccuracy, and we saw that bite him today with the interception, and we saw a couple other times where he had some other ones as well. One thing that I will say for him that's on the positive side is he does push the ball down the field. We already knew that about Lance, but still, when you're only averaging 6.6 yards per pass attempt, I don't really care if you throw the ball 50 yards down the field 5 times in the game. It's all about what you do and what the numbers actually, the positive that you bring to the table. And today, the 49ers passing game took a step back. 6.6 yards per attempt, 51% completion. There's a lot of things there for Lance, though, I will say, to grow from. Obviously, this is game 1. As I also said before the game, during the different various shows that I did this week, I think it's time to pump the brakes just a little bit on Trey Lance. He's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, I believe. I believe he has the makeup. I believe he has the talent and the athletic ability and the skills. He's young, and this desire to initially call for him and talk about how he's going to take the 49ers to a new level is premature, and that's not something I'm going to come across in a lot of my analysis of Lance as being hard, and that's just me being realistic with what he's doing. And I thought I thought he played fine today. Having a 51% completion percentage isn't it, though, and having your quarterback run the ball 16 times out of your 28 pass running plays, that's not going to cut it in the NFL most of the time either, unless you have a guy that's an MVP. So maybe next year that'll work out for him. It's not going to work this year, I don't think. And hopefully the 49ers get back to utilizing guys like Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon and the actual running backs that they have on this team, because they have a really good group. They've shown that. And if they just start utilizing Trey Lance a little bit more as a quarterback, and allow him to use his athleticism on the passing plays that break down, I think it's going to get better for him as they go along. There were definitely some flags. It'll be interesting to go back and watch the film and see how many of the holding calls that we saw today on the passing plays were the result of the quarterback holding on to the ball longer than normal for the 49ers. So overall, interesting game for the 49ers, one that they dropped that they shouldn't have. We'll see where that takes them going into, now they have the bye, and we'll see what happens when they come out of the bye. They have Indianapolis up next. One thing I would say about this 49ers team and just kind of tell the fans is there are no 49er games that you can look at this schedule and you can chalk up as a victory when you look at the schedule today moving forward. They're not good enough on offense. Their defense is pretty good, but the offense is not good. And 10 points today shows it. The 49ers were held scoreless throughout the first half. So we'll see what happens as they move forward. And my last thing on this, in talking about the 49ers 2021 team and their chances, and I've mentioned this a couple of different times in shows recently, I think 49er fans were sold a bill of goods on this team. And the reason I say it is the 49ers front office tried to sell you a playoff team and a Super Bowl caliber team, knowing all full well that they were pretty much put together with bubble gum and scotch tape, with a number of these veterans that they brought back that they knew fans were going to buy into and believe that this was a team that was going to be able to challenge for a Super Bowl berth. And you're seeing the results of that. So the interesting part about this whole thing is it's backfiring on them, and it's backfiring on Kyle Shanahan with the fan base, because I can look in the comment section here. I can look at the comments that I see on Twitter, and there is a great deal of dissatisfaction with what the fans are seeing, and a lot of it is because of what they've been told to expect compared to what they're actually seeing. So that's my take on the 49ers team in general and what we saw from the 49ers today. I will definitely be back this week with some other shows as we go through. I'll be back on tomorrow night for my normal hit with Sunil on So Real Sports Talk, as well as be having my shows here on Tuesday. I will be on doing the film breakdown on Tuesday, along with there might be a Niner chatter. I'm not sure how that's going to work out because of some of the issues that we've been seeing with the call-in shows over the last few weeks, especially last week over on Last Second Sports. And beyond that, I definitely will be back on Thursday as well for the Hammer Nail Show with my co-host Jesse Naylor. So hope you guys enjoyed the game. Hope you guys enjoyed everything that you saw. I really apologize to those of you who were expecting Trey Lance to come out and lead the 49ers to a big victory today. And it's going to take some time. Trust in the process. And it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you all jumping on here on a Sunday night after 7 o'clock on the West Coast, after 10 o'clock if you're on the East. And we'll definitely be back with a lot more analysis of this game in the coming days. Thank you so much. If you could please hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the like button, and share some comments. That'd be fantastic. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great night.